Sure, there's obviously from an ICC perspective and an ETPL perspective, the BCCI runs Indian cricket and they dictate those terms, and we know what those terms are. It's not just they can't play in Europe. Anybody that's playing cricket in India, even at state level, cannot play in any other countries. So it was great to see Ajinkya Rahane is now signed up as well into this ETPL. R. Ashwin, and under Rahul Dravid's guidance and ownership of one of the teams, hopefully we'll start seeing senior players when they retire from the game. And we know in India, I mean, it's pretty incredible because cricket's not just about the skills that you have on the day. It's also about the skills that you can rub off onto other people. And that, again, is important for us. So while some people might say, well, you're only going to catch Indian players who've retired, that sort of expertise, and it's so valuable into the European T20 Premier League setup that, it's great to see guys now who are retiring in India and playing in the league. But that's been something that the BCCI have not ever changed or even given an indication that it could change. They've been very firm on that principle that when you play cricket in India, you're not available for any other league. So they've been consistent throughout. But as I said, we're excited to have anybody that's played franchise cricket here, especially for so the length of time and the experience that they're bringing into the ETPL. It's really exciting for all of us.
We'll take the final two questions. I have one cheeky question. John, this is a very interesting question. Your team, Rotterdam Dockers, has Faf du Plessis, Henrik Klaassen, a lot of cricketing brain. Is that sometimes intimidating?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fanboy moment, So it's fun to have them, and I was just telling Krish, without sounding pompous about it, I think we have got one of the stronger teams in the league, and proudly so, and rightly so. So very excited, and I hope Jonty is correct in saying I hope we lift the cup. So without sounding presumptuous about it.
Fair.
And just to answer your question, sir, I also believe that we will identify Indian players that are not playing in any of the state leagues, etc. That would be discoveries, and India would discover them there in the Rotterdam Dockers, for example, and say, whoa, where did this guy go? Why did we miss him? And try and get him back. So the idea would be to identify really young talent and get them from anywhere across the country and across Europe as well.
About more retired players coming in, do you see more players retiring just to take up, to play in these kind of leagues?
Well, it's interesting because all of us from a cricketing background, and we're of the similar generation, so you and I. So we've seen cricket evolve, and like Krish said, I mean, there's so many aspects to the game that's constantly changing, and we all need to embrace it and adapt. And I think the important thing is if you look at other sports around the world, John with his expertise in football can vouch for that. Unless it's a World Cup year, football is all about the franchise and about your club. And cricket, we've been fairly spoiled that for so long, the predominant amount of time that you spend playing cricket has always been for your country, but that's now changing. Faf will talk about being a circuit player. So he gets to play, and I mean, he could have played in another franchise league at the same time, but he's chosen to be in the ETPL because for him, it fits certain parameters that he has as a circuit player. And I think that's something that we haven't seen a great deal in cricket, and you will see more and more, not just from an Indian perspective, but obviously guys who are playing international cricket deciding to call it a day on their international careers to pursue the opportunity in franchise cricket. So it's not just something that could happen in India, and I'm sure there will be opportunities where with the sort of prevalence of these franchise leagues around the world, people will be tempted to retire and carry on their cricket in a franchise environment.
We'll take one final question. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. This is Sudisha from Ref Sports, and I just wanted to ask a question to all of you. What is that one factor that you think will attract the Indian audience in the ETPL? And lastly, what message would you like to give to all the players who are going to participate?
Well, I think firstly, your product has to be good. And I mean, the reason why we've got involved, and as Maduka had said earlier on, I mean, the team that we've put together, we had seen there were 3 teams already that had been announced in January, and we came into the system in February. and we'd seen the sort of team players that they'd already pre-signed. And that for us was just indicative of what we're trying to achieve. You have to have if you want to make something popular, you can't bring in a product that's not going to stand scrutiny. And I think that's the key message for us, is that we want to deliver a good product. So I think from that perspective, we're really excited about what our team can do, the Rotterdam Dockers, and the entire league as a whole.
So when I came on as an investor, one of the things that we look at is how much they got done in such a short period of time, and the quality behind it, and the names behind it. It's not easy to get players like Henrik Klaassen involved, and just the passion that a lot of the folks have. There's definitely star power in the lineup, and I think that's a huge starting point, but also the effort that they're putting into bringing on talent. Also, in Europe, there is a huge Indian community. There's pockets of South Asian communities, and like John said, the timing is perfect, because I've seen in like the US, when the US has leagues, it's sometimes too late for people in the subcontinent to watch it. So this is like perfectly in a place where people in Europe, in London, South Africa, as well as even India are going to be able to watch it. And there's just this premium experience, from the way Faf and the team designed the jerseys to just the way that the people that have been involved. There's good thinking heads, good cricketing heads that are running this, and people that are former players, former coaches. So I think that's just a great sign that these people know what they're doing. And that was one of the reasons why I got involved as an investor.
And just really important, I know we're talking AI, that really was Faf designing the gear. So he's been really invested in this team from the outset, in everything, in every aspect of it.
Last but not the least, just want to, my selfish reason for being here as well is I believe India is a one sport country, and cricket is at the epitome of everything. I have developed a sports vertical within my system where we support, we promote motor racing, we promote football, etc., and I believe in cross-pollination. So definitely, and I can say this with a lot of confidence, Jonty is going to be a part of Northeast United FC, which is our football team. I would love for Krish and everybody here to be involved in our different sporting disciplines, because it's so important to promote other sport as well. And one of the reasons why I am here is because cricket is from 1 to 1,000, and it's important. And I think the Indian consumer today is also confused of what second sport to follow. And that's the reason why I've created my own sport vertical, where we have motorsport. We own a team in motorcycle racing in the Isle of Man TT. I'm associated with the MotoGP. I'm also associated with Formula 4 racing in India, with football, etc. And we're going to be supporting boxing, weightlifting, judo across the country, multiple sports disciplines. So that's something I want to do in the Center of Excellence. And Jonty's played hockey. Jonty's played many other sports, and Krish gets this space, and Madhukar gets this space. So when you have like-minded people sitting here, there's an opportunity for everybody to be involved in the sport that they would like to get involved in, and that's the platform that I want to kind of create here.
Well, but of course, the real story begins when Rotterdam Dockers take the field. They inaugurate to September 20th across Woburg in the Netherlands and Dublin in Ireland. And Rotterdam Dockers will have the honor of being part of history, opening their campaign against Amsterdam Flames on August 26th in Woburg in the opening fixture of the inaugural ETPL season. So the jersey has been unveiled, the team has been assembled, the stage is set. Now we wait for the cricket. Thank you once again to Jonty Rhodes, John Abraham, Madhukar Sri and Krish Ramaneni for being with us, and a very special thank you to our members from the press for joining us and helping us tell the story of this exciting chapter of European cricket. We look forward to seeing you all in Woburg on August 26th, and if you cannot make it, you can catch all the action live on Star Sports and Jio Hotstar. Thank you. All the dignitaries to step forward for a photo op.
the European T20 Premier League is kicking off on the 26th of August, so it's just around the corner. And we, the Rotterdam Dockers, are a franchise that's one of the 6 teams in the league. And we're really excited to see where we can take European cricket. And, you know, it's such an incredible opportunity. It's pretty much the last frontier where cricket is played all around the world, amazingly. I know in India and South Africa we kind of feel, well, you know, it's not really played in Europe, but it is. I've seen it. I've been a part of it when I lived in Sweden, and I know that we can, through the ETPL, make a massive difference in providing this strong platform, bringing good coaching, bringing great players into the system, and allowing the European players to benefit from that experience.
Also, as how does the new players will get a good achievement as well from this? We have been seeing that also they will get a good boost as well from this European cricket, if we talk about so.
You know, I think what franchise cricket does is it helps grow the sort of the grassroots cricket, because it gives young players a platform to showcase their skills. Because without it, they don't play enough cricket. And I think from that perspective, we as a franchise, we have a strong South African connection, we have a strong Indian connection through the ownership, through investors. We want to ensure that the tournament is not just about the 5 weeks of the ETPL, but our players get the opportunity to play in high performance camps with the likes of Klaas and Faf du Plessis in South Africa, in India, where they'll be exposed to different conditions and learn to, you know, evolve their own game, not just in those 5 weeks. So we're looking to have high performance camps in Europe, in South Africa, in India, to ensure that we can create a franchise that's not just about the 5 week tournament. It does become a part of the sort of cricket culture throughout the year.
Also, sir, for the younger generation, what message you want to give? Because during these leagues and all, the senior players would be also there, would be present over there. From them, they will get to learn few things of the cricket as well. What is the pitch conditions, everything. What do you want to say, sir?
Well, I think it's not just about the young players learning. Cricket's a game where the minute you think you've got it under control, you realize that you don't. So I think all of us are in a position as senior players, as young players. It's a brand new franchise. It's a brand new tournament in Europe. So everybody's pretty much on the same footing. We, as international cricket players, as international coaches, we will need the younger European players to tell us what the conditions are like. So we don't just arrive there thinking we know everything about the game. It's a new frontier, as I said. Local kids will have local knowledge, better local knowledge from us. And I think all of us in the cricketing environment always remember that the day you think you know everything is the day you're in trouble. So everybody's going to be learning from each other. But I think it's really exciting for the youth in these 3 countries, in Ireland, Netherlands and Scotland, to have this amazing opportunity to spend time with some of the best players and best coaching staff from around the world. And that's not me, I'm an owner. I know my lane. I'll be on the ownership side. Okay, one second, Joe.
Looking forward to Indians participating in this European League, because we have co-owners and more participation is required. How do you look forward to that?
Well, I think, obviously we've got young players who've been born in India, who have now gone through to represent other countries. And I think from that perspective, we're really excited. Our first pick in the draft, Jay, he's somebody who burst onto the scenes against India, and he bowled India out and allowed Ireland to take an incredible victory in the T20 series there. So I think from that perspective, it's not just about Indian players alone, but there is a lot of the Indian diaspora that is in Europe, and we're sort of hoping that these young players will really relish this opportunity.
Last question. Indian companies owning the team. Indian companies owning the team.
Somebody else can answer. Somebody else can answer.
Sorry?
Indian companies.
As the Indian company's been owning the team over here, this is really a big thing that in European cricket, Indian companies been owning. What do you want to say, sir?
I mean, this league is different because the legends of the game own the teams. I mean, we are owned by Jonty, Fav, John, and Klassen. Dublin is owned by Rahul Dravid. Amsterdam is owned by Steve Oak, Jamie Drawer. So, I mean, that also is one of the key reasons why this league is different from all other leagues. I mean, obviously, there is an Indian influence with few investors. I mean, Chris staying in US is an Indian, and few of other investors also are Indian. So there is an Indian angle, and Jonty is as Indian as anyone can be. So
More Indian.
more Indian. In fact, his daughter's name is India. So That's my answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, I think I think there's an opportunity for someone like me in this league. I'm honored to be a part of this league. This has been accredited by the ICC. They've given us a window, August, September. And when I have co-owners and partners like Jonty and Faf and Heinrich Lassen, it becomes all the more special. So I love sport, any sport. So I'm just very honored and I'm happy and I'm grateful that I'm a part of this league.
So you were in the football, you were with basically the franchise also in the football, but
Yeah.
now you are entered into cricket. So is
Yeah.
there any difference between the both the sports as you are looking?
Yeah, I mean, sport is sport, you know. I mean, cricket's got a great lead over football, but I think football this season on will look up. It's going to be a completely different league post the World Cup because we've structured football so differently now. So I'm very hopeful of football in India. Cricket, of course, is the king of Indian sport. So being a part of cricket is a great honor, and having the right partners is also very important. And I think I've got the right partners, and we've got a very strong team. The league is very strong, very important, and the ICC backing it is probably the most important thing. So I think I'm at the right place at the right time.
Last question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the region, with established international stars and creating a platform where European cricket can find a new generation of fans, players, and possibilities. And at the heart of the story is a franchise with a very distinctive identity, the Rotterdam Dockers. A team that brings together global sporting pedigree, entertainment, local Dutch talent, and an ambition to make its mark on its European cricketing landscape. And today is an important milestone. Mr. John Abraham, co-owner of Rotterdam Dockers, actor, entrepreneur, and one of the biggest sporting fans in the country. Mr. Madhukar Shree, founder and managing director of Rotterdam Dockers, founding investor in Rotterdam Dockers. Gentlemen, welcome. It's wonderful to have you with us. And Jonty, I think there is no better place to start with a man who knows a thing or two about building teams, building beliefs, and of course, playing cricket at the highest level. Jonty, over to you.
Hi everybody, sorry for starting on silent. Namaskar. So good to be back in Mumbai at the CCI. I have very fond memories of playing cricket here. But we are looking forward to, not the past, but where we're taking cricket, especially in Europe with the Rotterdam Dockers. And it's been a fascinating journey. Madhukar has had sleepless nights since day one. So please excuse him if he's looking a little bit tired today. He is the heart and the soul of the team and or the management team. And we as a franchise are really excited to be a part of the ETPL for a couple of reasons. One, in Rotterdam, it is the gateway to Europe. And we know that the city itself has been, the reason why we named our franchise the Dockers is that they, the Dockers, built that city. They, the Dockers, are the backbone of the Netherlands. And we certainly have an opportunity as a franchise to be something very similar on a cricketing front. We all know what a franchise league does for a country. It provides a platform for the younger talent to expose and improve their skill base. And that's such a big part of what we are planning to do. Obviously, we would love to win the trophy in year one. That is our aim on the field. But most importantly, we as a franchise, again, are looking to develop the youth and the skill set that's already existing in Europe, and especially in the Netherlands. So we're really proud to be a part of that, and looking forward to the inaugural season, which kicks off very, very shortly. So from here, we basically, myself and Madhukar will be jetting off to the Netherlands, to Rotterdam, to make sure that we've got all things in place for the tournament that kicks off on the 26th of August. So that is just around the corner. So exciting times. We have a team on the field that's it's going to be exciting under Faf du Plessis. He's been an incredible captain. And the great thing about someone like Faf, he doesn't just tell people how to play. He shows from the front, whether it's with the bat or in the field especially, he certainly sets the standards. And he's not someone to ask other people to do things that he's not capable or willing to do himself. So that's very much the ethos of the Rotterdam Dockers, playing for the team. You know, making sure that your performance is impactful for the players around you. So really looking forward to the journey that has already started, and seeing how far we can take cricket in Europe in the next coming seasons. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonty. If there is one person who knows what it takes to build a team with character, belief, and a winning identity, I think it's certainly Jonty. But Rotterdam Dockers isn't about bringing a different energy to the game. Now, next speaker. From being one of India's biggest film stars to being a passionate sports fan and now a co-owner of Rotterdam Dockers, John Abraham brings a very different perspective to this exciting journey. John, you've been a passionate follower of football for over the years, and now you've ventured into cricket in a big way. What was it about Rotterdam Dockers and the opportunity to be part of the ETPL that made you want to make the transition? John, over to you.
Thank you so much. A very good afternoon to all of you here. First of all, my initial experience with cricket has been coming to CCI from my college, which is just behind here, Jai Hind College, and I remember passing this place, and it's a fact, and I could just hear the audience scream, Jonty, 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 and that was, I wasn't allowed in, but that was West Indies versus South Africa, playing at the CCI. That's where you had your 5 catches, I'm not sure, 5, right? I mean, people were crazy. Jonty is probably more Indian, or as Indian as any Indian can get. So Jonty, it's an honor to be with you here. Genuinely, you know, when you sit with someone who's been at the pinnacle of sport, like you are in cricket, it's really an honor. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this stage with you. Madhukar, congratulations on the way you've put this team together and put in the effort to make this happen. Don't look stressed now. We're all on stage, so you can be relaxed, and this is going to go well. I'm going to be there on the 13th of September in Dublin for our match. So I'm really excited about that. Krish, thank you for giving us the legs and the power to propel our team forward. You know, in my brief conversations with you, Krish is extremely intelligent, sensitive, very important, very well-mannered, fantastic partner to have on board with all of us. So, and I say this with a lot of confidence that we've got the right people on this podium. Of course, we're missing Faf and Heinrich, and you know, I've had the opportunity of speaking with them on Zoom calls. Faf has designed jerseys for us, a very stylish, good-looking man designing some good-looking stuff for us. And you know, Ryan, Sachin, all of you, thank you so much for being here. But very important, in case you know, a lot of people look at me just as an actor. My batting coach is here, Lad sir, and he coached me. He's also coached Mr. Rohit Sharma. He enjoyed my cover drive. Yeah. So I really do enjoy sport as a whole. I love football, I love cricket, I love any kind of sport, motorsport as well. And it's an honor to be here amongst all of you. Very important, one thing that I just want to leave you guys with in this conversation was grassroots for any developing nation. And I think grassroots is very important, and that's what we're trying to do with the Netherlands, with Ireland, with Belgium, and all these places. We want to develop grassroots and talent from there, and that's how you make the sport a world sport. And no better person than Jonty and his team to be doing that. I'd love to see more players out of Europe playing in this league. And on the business end of things, this is a great league because viewership timings perfectly suit the Indian subcontinent. So it's fantastic for us. We have a game at 4:30 in the evening, a game at 7:30 in the evening. I believe this is going to be a fantastic league to watch out for. You've got the best names in the world playing in this league. So I'm really excited to be a part of this, and congratulations to Krish, Madhukar, Jonty, to all of you, congratulations. An absolute honor and a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I think we can do a little better with round of applause. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We've heard the vision, we've heard the ambition, and we've heard what Rotterdam Dockers want to represent as they step into this new chapter of European cricket. But there's one thing we haven't seen yet, the identity. So before we unveil it here on, ladies and gentlemen, here is the Rotterdam Dockers. AI as the official jersey sponsor, make some noise. This is the Rotterdam Dockers. Thank you so much. May I request our guests to please take their seats. As you've just seen, there is a lot that goes into building.
Because of Bollywood and cricket, and I haven't even told this to John, but when I first moved in the 2000s, I probably watched Doom over a dozen times. And watching cricket in the early 2000s was just a phenomenal experience for me, and I always wanted to be connected to that. And coming to where we are with Fireflies, we are an AI company. We have roots here in India, in the US, but Europe is rapidly growing for us as a market. So when I first spoke to Madhu, the intention was to come on just as a jersey sponsor. But then he said, you should meet the team, you should meet Jonty, you should meet Faf, and see if you can get involved in another way. And I had the opportunity to be a part of other franchises and other leagues for cricket. And having played cricket growing up, watching it, it was something I've always wanted to be a part of. But I never took that initial move because I didn't have the conviction just yet. But then when I met them and I spoke to Jonty and I spoke to Faf, and the way they thought about it, I saw so many similarities. Because when you start a startup, you are essentially starting from scratch. You get to define the vision. You get to build out the future. And for any startup, the team, the foundation, that's the most important thing. And when I saw names like John and Jonty together and how Madhu worked tirelessly to set this up, I said, you know what? I want to be a part of this. I don't want to just be a sponsor. I would love to be a founding investor. And I'd also love to bring a third angle to entertainment and cricket, which is technology. And as I've spoken to the team, I've learned a lot about how technology is used in cricket. Everything that happens before a game, the way you plan, the way you prepare, how you train your players. And one thing that is very true is in cricket, every ball has a story. There's 240 balls in a T20 match. And unfortunately, there's too much data that's coming out of that. But the nice thing is AI can understand every single one of those balls, every single story, put it together, and ideally help the players and the coaches learn from it, learn from the past, and hopefully improve and know better for the future. The scorecard tells you what happened, and hopefully the technology can tell you, the AI can tell you why that happened. And so for me, bringing that technology angle with AI...
Thank you, Krish. We now open the floor for a quick media Q&A. Really want to thank our friends from the media for making it here this afternoon. The weather has been quite erratic today, but thank you so much for making it here and joining us in this special moment. We'll open the floor now for quick media Q&A. Just a caveat, we'll take questions only limited to the scope of this discussion, which is on the ETPL, European Cricket, the Rotterdam Dockers, and what we have in store for the inaugural edition. So kindly raise your hand. We'll get the cordless mic passed on to you. Introduce yourself, your name and your publication, and your question. All right, I think just to get warmed up, let me just start off the questions with one. John, this is for you. You've seen sport globally. What really particularly interested you to really invest in European cricket and with the Rotterdam Dockers? And what does success really mean to you more than just winning the championship?
For us, I invested in football. And for me, football in this country is like a startup. Football's not going to see a better time than it is now in India, starting with this year, where the teams co-own the entire league. So I'm very bullish on it. And I just applied that to I applied that experience to what's happening with European cricket, and I think the story is the same there. It's at a very nascent stage. It's the right time to get in. I think more than success, I feel it's grassroots. I feel it's building your academies there, building a self-sustainable business stroke revenue model there, so you can get more players out of there and then supply them, also create a supply chain to different leagues. When you have the right partners on board, when you have the right platform in the ETPL on board, it's great breeding ground to do something like this.
Wonderful. Yeah, Amol.
Hi John, Amol from The Hindu. You just mentioned about creating a supply chain and comparing your involvement in football and ETPL. Yes, there are a lot of parallels, but when it comes to cricket, primarily everyone wants to catch eyeballs, especially from the subcontinent. How do you strike that balance of creating a supply chain, developing a structure through ETPL, and yet manage to attract eyeballs?
So I think I think your question has there are two questions in this basically. Getting the eyeballs is a very media stroke TRP stroke business perspective. We're doing that through the timings when we play this game, especially for the Indian subcontinent, 4:30 and 7:30. So it's prime time for India, especially the 7:30 game. The first part of your question, not the latter, the former part of your question is how do you create a supply chain is through stalwarts, through like Jonty, Faf, etc., who in conjunction with me, and I'm saying this out of experience because I'm doing that in football, we're creating India's biggest football academy in the northeast of India, in Shillong, called the Center of Excellence. If you don't have a sustainable business model and a supply chain where you provide players to all of the clubs, you won't survive. And I think that's exactly what we want to do with this. We want to get those players out from the domestic league, Dutch players, Irish players, Scottish players, from wherever, and then supply them to the biggest leagues in the world, not only our team, but to the biggest leagues in the world. And I think that should be and that will be our way forward.
Can I just add to that too? I mean, I think specifically for us, the beauty of what we've tried to establish is that we've got a very strong South African connection, obviously a European connection, and a very tight Indian connection. So the tournament itself is 5 weeks, 4.5, 5 weeks. And we understand that you can't just survive in that 5-week window of an entire year. So our plan is with regards to that pipeline or the supply chain is ensuring that we can take young players out of Europe, get them into India for camps, high performance camps, bring them through to South Africa for high performance camps. Faf and myself, I mean, I live half the year in India, half the year in South Africa. So ensuring that we're giving these young players not just that 5-week window with some of the best players, some of the best coaches in the world, but then other opportunities to extend their cricket knowledge by playing in countries more consistently. And they have long off seasons, obviously, in Europe. So in that off-season period, bring them to South Africa, bring them into India, where we can grow them, not only their cricket skills, but also mentally make them tougher players too. Because, let's face it, league academy cricket, league cricket in South Africa, league cricket and club cricket in India, it's a very tough competition itself.
No specific story. I'm okay with it.
We're just doing it in order. 7, 8. What's your? Oh, 6. Okay.
6, 7, 8.
So wrong way
6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
So there's just no specific story per se.
Yeah, there's a question there. Please go ahead, sir.
Whether the Rotterdam Dockers will be participating for the first time in the Premier League 20?
So, sorry, the question is that Rotterdam Dockers are participating for the first time in the league.
Speak about the team.
The thing, so I mean, right from February when myself and Jonty got together, the whole idea was to put together a team not only on ground but off the field as well, something which is world class. We want to go there with an A product, and then we when we started discussing, obviously for a team what you need is a good leader, and that's when we had a chat, and I mean Fab du Plessis, who's been an exceptional leader across franchisee crickets and for the South African team. So that's how we kind of then we both had a chat with Faf, and he was very interested to come on board, and that's how he got involved. And after that, obviously with the modern cricket, we needed someone who can provide entertainment, who is a big name and can help us win the trophy. And that's when kind of Faf spoke to Henrik Klassen and got him on board. So I mean, in terms of that's how we started our story. And then obviously, as Jonty rightly mentioned, there's a lot of cultural similarities between Netherlands, the Dutch, and the South African country. And in terms of the language, Afrikaans is widely spoken in both the countries. So that's how we kind of started it. And though I mean we have got an African influence team, as Jonty rightly mentioned, we cater to multiple markets, right from India, Africa, Europe, and now US also. So that's how it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, this is a question for both John and Jonty. I'm Vishal from Cricinfo. We've seen cricket exist and really thrive for so many decades, both in India, South Africa, everywhere, except perhaps in these parts of Europe where the ETPL is now coming up. So what kind of a future do you see? And also we see T20 leagues coming up almost every year now, taking up some part of the calendar, which is only 12 months. So what kind of a vision do you see for this league? What kind of a market do you see it establishing, whether in Europe or India or across the world?
I think from a perspective of me being involved in India for the last 18 years in franchise cricket, what has been fascinating is that it didn't just mushroom altogether. Kind of the different states were suddenly then picking up their own T20 leagues. And I think that's what we're also looking to see in Europe. I mean, there's 31 or 2 associates of the ICC, 33 associates. And it's not just about these 3 countries, because once it starts there, there is real cricket affection in Europe itself, which we as people who are familiar with England, India, South Africa, Australia, the bigger country names, you don't appreciate. But I lived in Sweden for 2.5 years, to coach the Swedish national team. And for us, we were looking across at Italy, we were looking across at Germany, because from a Scandinavian perspective, they were the next level up. And then there was Ireland and Scotland. So there's a huge opportunity to grow cricket, not just in Ireland, Netherlands, and Scotland. And having seen it and seen what a platform like this sort of league can do, I am really excited by how we are going to influence the rest of Europe. So yes, our focus is on Rotterdam, the Netherlands, on Ireland and on Scotland. But we know that knock-on effect quickly impacts the rest of the countries in Europe.
John, I think he's waiting for your comments.
No, I think Jonty's, he gets this far better than I do. But I think the way you see T20 leagues springing up in the country, you have the Assam Premier League, you have so many Premier Leagues all across the country being broadcast on different OTT channels. I think you'll have that ripple effect happening in Europe too, like he said. So I think it's a great time for us. It's the opportune time for us, and we must take advantage of it.
I think just a key thing, though, is that, I mean, there have been various tournaments in Europe already that preceded this now, the ETPL. But the key is, though, ours is an ICC-sanctioned event. And that's important because, you can have leagues and events popping up everywhere, but do they have, the backing of cricket boards like we have, of the International Cricket Council? We have that backing, and I think that's the big difference, is that we know that we are in this for the long ride and for the right reason. Sure, it's a business, but to grow the game. And all of the team owners, it's been interesting because there's so many former players that are now co-owners in the various franchises. And we all played in a similar era against each other. And the team owners have actually been working really well together to ensure that we support this league. because we believe in the business side of it, but we also believe in the difference that we can make, not just in the 3 countries, but throughout Europe as a whole.
Before you take the next question, just one question to Krish. Jonty and John have spoken a lot about the philosophy and the vision and the mindset of the Dockers. From a commercial AI standpoint, you've spoken about it already. How does Fireflies.ai buy into this philosophy to really strengthen Rotterdam Dockers, strengthen grassroots, and then strengthen the commercial proposition of the brand?
I think right off the bat, in terms of how you can elevate the experience for the players, and you can bring insights to them, and you can help them prepare better for these sort of games. The other thing is you can use technology for fan engagement, especially they're doing so much work at the grassroots level, bringing in talent, training talent, the locals. And honestly, if you can have an incredible experience on site at the stadiums and have great fan engagement using technology, that's also a great way to create that loyalty and stickiness for the team. And the best part is this is just going to get bigger. It's only going to, this is just a starting point. So if you have your the best foot forward, you can make a huge impact there. And I think technology, as we've seen when we see broadcasts, when we watch the games, how it can bring interesting insights and graphics and stats and metrics, you can bring all of that as well. But for me personally, I had come in thinking Europe is big for us as Fireflies investing. And this is going to get obviously a lot of eyeballs, but more importantly, it's unique, it's novel, and this is what we really stand for as well at our company.
Perfect. Any more questions?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? AI in... So with cricket, I've had a chance to sit with a team analyst, and I've had a chance to look at some of the technology and tools that they use. The amount of research and work that players have to do and coaches have to do, they really have to do their homework. And in fact, sometimes, whether you look at other leagues or even international matches, if you don't do the prep beforehand, the match can be lost. When I was talking to Faf, one of the things he said is he's a very data-oriented captain. Like, there are certain captains who just go by instinct and they operate like computers, but having a data-oriented captain, understanding what sort of decisions you can make on the spot. One of the advantages of AI is you can make these sort of real-time decisions, whereas instead of post-match analysis, you can know, okay, at what point in the game did we lose the match? Who should I have put up against this batsman where we would have had a better edge? What sort of lineup should I have picked? So that's how I think like AI can help bring out these insights. And you're going to have already people that are going to be well-researched, well-prepared. But at the end of the day, you can have all the AI in the world, but it's up to the players to be able to execute on the spot. So it's just going to elevate the game and the level of playing to another level.
Well, I met him on set the other day when he was shooting. So he doesn't use AI at all. It's all John Abraham. I was walking through this field, and I felt like I was going to disappear down a crack. It was such a hot and dry day and place that I said, "Oh, how do you perform any stunts doing?" You could lose half a leg. So it was not AI, right? It's all John Abraham. No AI involved at all.
Thank you. Jonty's got my back. Thank you. No, I think what Krish said is absolutely correct. I think this AI is here to stay. But I think for us, even because I'm more associated, have been associated with football for about 13 years now. We depend on our team is a Moneyball team. You know, we depend on stats, and we just go by stats, and we go by numbers, and we see, for example, how many goals this guy has scored, etc. And I think the same applies for cricket. So AI is going to be very useful for us in terms of statistics, who we really need to get on the field. It could be a part of any sport, but it's here to stay. As far as films is concerned, we have a lot of assistance from AI, but thank you, Jonty. Thank you. But we try and do as much as possible outside of it, but it's definitely here to stay. And I have to tell you something, and I'm digressing. I was shooting on the set, and my action team was South African, and they were harnessing me, and we have Mr. Jonty Rhodes in his glasses just roaming around and walking around, and the South African guy just stops and he says, "Is that Jonty Rhodes?" I said, "Yeah, that's Jonty Rhodes." He's saying, "That's Jonty Rhodes." And he asked me, I think 5 times if it was Jonty Rhodes. I said, "Yes, it's Jonty Rhodes. It's not AI. It's Jonty Rhodes there." So the guy he said Jonty Rhodes has shaped my life. and that's the reverence that people like Jonty have in this ecosystem. So I just wanted to mention it, that I got some brownie points on my own film thanks to Jonty Rhodes coming on the film. So it is great.